Question 236. An offer can be revoked before acceptance by the offeror, unless A. At the time of the offeree stated it could not be withdrawn. B. The offer is in regard to a property worth under $100,000. C. The offer is supported by consideration. D. The offer was recorded. Correct answer is C. The offer is supported by consideration. When an offer is supported by consideration, something of value, it creates an option contract. An option contract gives the offeree the right to accept the offer within a specified time period, and the offeror cannot revoke the offer during that time. Generally, an offer can be revoked by the offeror at any time before it is accepted. However, an option contract is an exception to this rule. Question 237. A personal privilege to use the land of another is called a adverse possession, B. license, C. easement, D. possessory interest. Correct answer is B. license. Adverse possession is a legal doctrine that allows someone to acquire ownership of land by occupying it for a certain period of time under specific conditions. An easement is a non-possessory interest in land that grants someone the right to use another's land for a specific purpose. It is an interest in land, not a personal privilege. A possessory interest gives someone the right to occupy and control land, which is a stronger right than a license. A license is a personal, revocable, and non-assignable permission to use the land of another for a specific purpose. It does not create an interest in the land itself, but rather a personal privilege. Question 238. This owner of which kind of apartment property possesses the unit itself in severalty but shares ownership of the building's common elements with other unit owners? A. tenant tower. B. property in commonality. C. subdivided apartment complex. D. condominium. Correct answer is D. condominium. Tenant tower is not a standard real estate term. In a typical apartment tower, the landlord owns the entire building, and tenants rent individual units. While tenancy in common is a form of co-ownership, it doesn't specifically describe the unique ownership structure of a condominium. While apartments are subdivided, this does not describe the specific type of ownership that a condominium has. Condominiums, condos, and co-ops, too, embody a combination of aspects of individual ownership and concurrent ownership. Condo owners share ownership as tenants in common. In a condominium, each owner holds individual ownership, severalty, of their unit, while also sharing ownership of the common areas of the building, e.g., hallways, elevators, grounds, with the other unit owners. Question 239. A broker allegedly commingles a buyer's deposit with his own personal account. The buyer sends a verified complaint to the real estate commissioner who A. can decide whether to pursue an inquiry into the matter or not. B. must pursue an inquiry into the matter. C. can only refer the matter to the district attorney. D. can only pursue an inquiry if the amount of the deposit is over $50,000. Correct answer is B. must pursue an inquiry into the matter. Real estate commissioners, or equivalent regulatory bodies, have a legal obligation to investigate verified complaints of alleged violations of real estate law, especially those involving mishandling of client funds, like commingling. Commingling is a serious offense that can lead to disciplinary action against the broker. There is not a dollar amount minimum to investigate commingling. Question 240. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, requires businesses to make reasonable accommodations for employees with recognized disabilities, unless the employer A. Employs less than 15 people. B. Is a seasonal business that operates less than 20 weeks per year. C. Is a tax-exempt private membership club. D. All of the above. Correct answer is D. All of the above. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, is a broad civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all areas of public life, including jobs, schools, transportation, and all public and private places that are open to the general public. However, there are some specific exemptions. Here are the main categories of businesses that can be exempt from certain ADA rules. 1. Small businesses. In terms of employment, under Title I of the ADA, employment, businesses with fewer than 15 employees are generally exempt from the employment provisions of the ADA. 2. Religious organizations. Religious organizations and entities controlled by religious organizations are generally exempt from the ADA. This includes places of worship. 3. Private clubs. Private membership clubs are also generally exempt from the ADA. These are clubs that have selective membership criteria and are not open to the general public. Question 241. The current chairperson of the Federal Reserve Board, the Fed, is A. Ben Bernanke, B. Jerome Powell, C. Janet Yellen, D. Warren Buffett. Correct answer is B. Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell succeeded Janet Yellen. Question 242. A fire is racing toward a home that is in escrow. At this point, the risk of loss from fire damage belongs to the A. New owner, since escrow has been opened. B. New owner, since a purchase contract has been signed by the parties. C. Seller and the new owner share the cost of risk equally. D. Seller, since the closing documents have not yet been signed. Correct answer is D. Seller, since the closing documents have not yet been signed. Generally, the risk of loss remains with the seller until the title to the property is legally transferred to the buyer. This typically occurs upon the closing of escrow, when the deed is delivered. Until that point, the seller retains ownership and bears the responsibility for any damage to the property. While opening escrow and signing a purchase contract indicate a commitment to the transaction, they do not transfer ownership. The transfer of ownership occurs at closing. While certain agreements may shift the risk of loss prior to closing, normally the risk stays with the seller. Therefore, since the closing documents haven't been signed, the seller retains the risk of loss. Question 243. Applied to a property, the term non-homogeneity refers to its A. Indestructibility of a property, B. Unique physical aspects of a property, C. Degree of economic value related to the scarcity of a property, D. Lack of vegetation growing on the property. Correct answer is B. Unique physical aspects of a property. In real estate, non-homogeneity means that no two parcels of land are exactly alike. This uniqueness can stem from various factors, including location, size, shape, topography, improvements. Therefore, it specifically refers to the unique physical aspects of a property. Question 244. Husband Mike leases out a building owned by himself and his wife Jane as community property to lessee Larry. Mike signs the leasing agreement for a 2-year term, without the consent or signature of his wife. This agreement is A. Enforceable, B. Unenforceable, C. Voidable, D. Valid, if the wife verbally agrees after the agreement has been signed. Correct answer is B. Unenforceable. California law mandates that both spouses must participate in transactions involving community real property, especially when it comes to leases exceeding 1 year. Without the consent and signature of both spouses, such agreements are considered unenforceable. Therefore, Mike, acting alone, made the lease agreement unenforceable. Question 245. Adam has been getting to his horse stable every day for the last 7 years by driving across Randy's property, even though Randy has asked him to stop. A court would likely uphold Adam's right to continue this practice because his actions have created a prescription, b. defeasible estate in fee, c. adverse possession, d. both A and C. Correct answer is a prescription. Adverse possession is a legal doctrine that allows someone to acquire ownership of land by occupying it for a certain period of time under specific conditions. While there are similarities, Adam is not trying to own the land, only use it for access. A prescriptive easement is a legal right to use another person's land acquired through continuous and open use over a specified period of time. Adam's daily use of Randy's property for 7 years, even after being asked to stop, fulfills the requirements for a prescriptive easement.